New York City, 1930. The skyline was rising. Jazz filled the nightclubs. Wall Street was collapsing under the weight of the Great Depression. But beneath the surface, another empire was booming. Bootleg liquor moved by the truckload. Gambling dens never closed. Protection money flowed like clockwork. And behind it all were men who ruled in silence. But what happened next would turn New York into a battlefield, because two bosses believed there could only be one king. And before this war was over, both would be dead.
If you're drawn to the untold stories of power, betrayal, and the rise of criminal empires, like and subscribe.
Joe Masseria was already powerful. They called him the boss of bosses. He controlled vast territories across Manhattan and Brooklyn. Millions flowed through his operations during Prohibition. To his followers, he was untouchable. But here's what most people don't realize. Masseria's greatest strength was also his greatest weakness. He believed the old Sicilian traditions were law, absolute loyalty, absolute control, and he refused to adapt. That refusal would cost him everything. Across the city, another force was rising. Salvatore Maranzano, educated, strategic, patient. He didn't just want power, he wanted structure. He studied the Roman Empire and believed the Mafia should operate the same way, with ranks, order, and discipline. But when two powerful men both believe they deserve to rule, war becomes inevitable. And by early 1930, the first shots were fired. At first, it looked like random violence, a body found in Brooklyn, a drive-by shooting in Manhattan, a warehouse mysteriously burned overnight. But it wasn't random, it was organized, and it was escalating fast. Within months, dozens were dead. Gunmen stalked the streets. Meetings meant for peace became death traps. New York wasn't just tense, it was paranoid. And if you were in the Mafia during this time, you didn't know who would betray you next. But while the old bosses were fighting in public, something more dangerous was happening in private. One younger generation was watching. One man in particular, Charles Lucky Luciano. He worked under Masseria. He understood the old system, but he saw its flaws. Constant war meant unstable profits. Unstable profits meant weak power. Luciano believed crime should operate like a corporation, organized, structured, efficient. And he was willing to remove anyone standing in the way, even his own boss. By 1931, the war was draining everyone. Money was drying up. Allies were nervous. Paranoia infected every meeting. That's when Luciano made a decision that would change everything. He secretly contacted Maranzano's side, not out of loyalty, out of strategy. If Masseria fell, the war could end. But what Luciano didn't reveal was that Maranzano would fall too. April 15th, 1931. Joe Masseria sat in a Coney Island restaurant. He was relaxed, eating, playing cards. Across from him sat Luciano. Then Luciano excused himself. Moments later, gunmen stormed in. Shots echoed through the restaurant. When it was over, Masseria was slumped over the table, dead. Luciano had betrayed his own boss. But this wasn't the end of the war. It was only phase one. With Masseria gone, Maranzano declared victory. He crowned himself the new boss of bosses. He reorganized New York's gangs into 5 families. He believed he had restored order. But power creates fear, and fear creates mistakes. Maranzano began seeing threats everywhere, especially in Luciano, and he started planning to eliminate him. That was his fatal error. Luciano found out, and he moved faster. September 10th, 1931. Men posing as federal agents entered Maranzano's office. They claimed to have a warrant. They disarmed his guards, and within minutes, Maranzano was dead. In less than 1 year, Both rival bosses were gone, and the man who engineered it all was still standing. But here's the twist most people miss. Luciano didn't take the title Boss of Bosses. He abolished it. Instead, he created the Commission, a governing council of mafia families. Disputes would be voted on, wars would be avoided, profits would be protected. This wasn't chaos anymore. It was a system, a machine, and it would dominate American organized crime for decades. The Castellamares War lasted barely 2 years, but it reshaped the American underworld forever. It ended the old Sicilian power structure and replaced it with a corporate-style criminal empire. From this foundation came control over labor unions, Las Vegas casinos, Hollywood connections, national influence. But it all started with betrayal. Two bosses entered the war believing they would rule forever. Neither survived it, and the man who played both sides built something far more powerful than either of them imagined. New York had been a battlefield, but from the bloodshed, an empire was born. And this was only the beginning.
If you want more true stories of betrayal, strategy, and the wars that shape the underworld, like and subscribe, because the next story is even bigger.